Ready or not, it's July 15th at beautiful Belmont Park. A soaking rain about 5 minutes before the first set of changes left us with a main track listed as muddy and sealed. A turf course, or two turf courses, listed as good. No muddy track blues on this Wednesday edition of Belmont Insider. Jason Blewett, Maggie Wolfendahl alongside. And coming to work today, Maggie, I was thinking, doesn't seem that long ago the trees were not in bloom on the backside. It was late April, it was chilly out, but as it stands, 5 cards and counting before we go upstate.
Well, it definitely felt like July 15th here today. As the humidity got pretty high. Now it's actually cooled off. Nice breeze here, but it was a summer day, and we were wishing off the rain showers, and I guess our wishing helped out because we remained on the turf throughout.
Right. Turf courses got some water. They did not affect the running of the races or anything like that. We hope to be back to fast and firm here tomorrow afternoon, and we dive right into headlines on day number 55 of this summer meet at Belmont Park with last year's Kentucky Derby and Preakness winner California Chrome, who is done for the year no matter what happens going forward, but announced earlier today that part interest in California Chrome sold to TaylorMade.
Right, that minority share that was Steve Coburn's was sold to TaylorMade, where California will go from Arlington to Kentucky to get some recuperation time there. 90 days at least he needs. So it's uncertain whether he will enter stud in 2016 or we'll see him racing. So we're all on the edge of our seat to see what California Chrome does. But it's kind of a leading towards the going into stud, considering a farm now owns some of them.
You would think odds are he'll be standing for stud duty in 2016 on a farm that already has Old Fashioned. Escondrea seems to be their most expensive stallion, and the good old stalwart Northern Fleet. I still like those Northern Fleets, right?
Love when he pops up in those pedigrees.
All right, so we hope to see California Chrome in 2016. Something tells me we'll be looking forward to his babies down the road. Now, Del Mar, speaking of potential 2-year-olds down the road, they'll kick off their summer meet, and that is the high-profile meet in Southern California tomorrow afternoon. Second year they'll be on that new turf course, and they have gone back to dirt, switching from the poly.
Yeah, out with the new, in with the old at Del Mar as we put dirt track back in. I think that was kind of moving things along to the possibility of the Breeders' Cup being there in the next couple years, obviously. Back to dirt. Hopefully that turf course has matured. It's kind of leveled itself out. Obviously, we want it to be safer for equine and jockeys alike, athletes as far as that's concerned. A 40-day meet that will begin tomorrow and end on Labor Day. So they don't have quite the schedule as we do. They take a couple days off as we take only one, but right up against Saratoga.
2 p.m. post time out in the Pacific will be that opening race. 2 turns. They'll break right in front of the starting gate, or I should say right in front of the stands with the starting gate, and that has been a Del Mar tradition. 5 p.m. Eastern first post tomorrow afternoon. Looking forward to Del Mar and Chris DiCarlo. Remember Chris?
I do.
You can't keep a good man down.
Yeah.
And Chris came back off a layoff, had not ridden in a race since September 21st, but was back, had one mount, and made it count today with a 15-1 upset. Pretty cool.
He did. I thought it was too, Jay, and I knew he was fit because I've seen him out in the mornings. I mean, getting on multiple horses for the last month. So he was looking good in the irons in the morning, and it showed that he was pretty strong in a finish because this was not a short price horse, and he earned every bit of it in that race.
You'll see Blue Chips Only and Mr. Chris DiCarlo in action a bit later in the program, but let's kick things off with race number 4. 5 pick sixes remain at the Palace as we look down from the finish line and look up. Good 10 stories or so. Back to the inner turf, though, we go for race number 4. Larry Comas will have the call.
Tight quarters there for the favorite Robe, who will be relegated to the back of the field as Elements of Harmony goes out to lead them early. Angel Choir away second. March On is third to the outside. So these 3 will take them into that first turn. And then it's Accord followed by Lana's Fortune down toward the inside. Break of 2.5 lengths, and Robe is now moving up on the outside of Maddie's Wonder Girl. The trailer is Buzzer Beater. So the field races on to the backstretch. Elements of Harmony leads Angel Choir a length and a half after a sharp opening quarter mile in 23 3/5 seconds. March On follows in third, 3 lengths off the lead up the backstretch. Then Lana's Fortune, Accord, and Robe on the outside. Maddie's Wonder Girl is right alongside of Buzzer Beater at the back, and they are 6.5 lengths off of Elements of Harmony and Luis Saez, who lead the field into the far turn. Elements of Harmony by almost 2 lengths after a 48 1/2 mile. Angel Choir is second into the turn. March On is third. Then Lana's Fortune to the inside, and Robe now moving. And Robe takes fourth, and Robe is 5 lengths off the lead. Then it's Accord, Maddie's Wonder Girl, and Buzzer Beater. Around the far turn, Elements of Harmony 1.5 lengths. Getting away now from Angel Choir as they come to the top of the stretch. March On cuts the corner, and Robe's under a drive and is closing in 3 wide. And they're into the stretch. Elements of Harmony coming into the final furlong with a 2-length lead. Robe is eating up ground on the far outside, and March On is there in third. Final furlong, and Elements of Harmony's got something left in the tank, pulling away to lead by 4. And then it's Robe, and on the inside comes Lana's Fortune under the wire. Elements of Harmony wins it by 6 at 22 1. Then it was Robe, Lana's Fortune, and a photo for fourth between March On and Accord.
First time starting filly in this high-priced maiden claimer, who ran like a daughter of Exchange Rate, who probably should have been 2 1 and not 22 1. Elements of Harmony, much the best.
Rudy trying to steal one here once again in a maiden claimer with Elements of Harmony. She was bred for the turf. I mean, their dam was a pretty nice turf mare out of Dynaformer. And she just ran every step of the way, Jay. Clear by 6 at the wire. And she was pretty impressive. Obviously, I would think they would be stepping her up to Allowance Company next start.
Right. She will not be running back for a tag. And nice to see what has turned out to be those familiar silks of Sheep Pond Partners. Of course, they are the owners of Lady Eli. And I think all of us were saddened and bummed Monday afternoon when it was announced that Lady Eli currently battling laminitis, which often proves to be fatal. I hope this win picked up the connection spirits, and we're certainly thinking of her.
Yeah, you always have to be on pins and needles as far as that illness is concerned, and hopefully she recovers and at least is back with us here.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, let's move on to race number 5. One more leg to go, in fact, in today's pick 5 and early pick 4. We're on the Widener, 7 furlongs. It's a $48,000 purse, 3 lifetime, 50 claimers. And here's Larry Colmus from the gate.
They're off. Man of Many Virtues had a very good start. Defining Product's got early speed, too. And on the far outside, it's the Imposter. And now there goes Blazing Truth rushing up between horses with Papa Tom to the inside. Then back to Hidden Vow. Blarp is second last. And Pep the Champ, the favorite, is dead last up the backstretch. Blazing Truth has taken the lead here and is opening up to lead by 2 over Man of Many Virtues. Then the Imposter third. Papa Tom fourth at 23 3 opening quarter mile. Then Defining Product in 5th. Blarp on the outside is 6th, followed by Hidden Vow, and Pep the Champ is 8 lengths off of Blazing Truth, who leads the way on the far turn by 2.5 lengths. Man of Many Virtues is running in second. The Imposter and Blarp are moving together, 3rd and 4th. Defining Product 5th. Then Papa Tom down on the inside. Pep the Champ's got work to do. Under a drive, 6 lengths off the lead as they come toward the top of the stretch. Blazing Truth turning for home in front. Man of Many Virtues, the Imposter, Blarp on the far outside. And the 4 of them turn for home, and joining them is Defining Product in the middle of the racetrack, and 5 of them are across the track here. Defining Product, Blarp, the Imposter, and on the inside it's Man of Many Virtues, and they're coming down to the final 16th, and Hidden Vow's getting going too. Hidden Vow's moving by them on the far outside. Hidden Vow runs them down. And then it was Defining Product and a photo between the Imposter and Blarp.
Scramble, real frenetic finish down to the wire, and here comes patient Javier Castellano with the number 2 Hidden Vow.
It was. All of a sudden, it didn't seem like Hidden Vow was really going anywhere. Javier just patiently sweeps him out to the outside, and then he just comes running with that strong finish. It was kind of funny watching that replay again, Jay. It's like, where's Hidden Vow? Where's Hidden Vow? Oh, there he is. That's how good Javier is.
3rd lifetime win for this horse, who's now 3 for 29, was in for 50 today, have been facing better. I think the question, though, had he lost a step, would he get pace? Few guys went. Epona Racing Stable, Tony McCarthy, whole bunch of other owners involved with this New York bred gelding. Javier Castellano, trainer Bruce Brown, who was out with his son Nicholas, and we are out with the first segment. We're back with race 7, race 8, including a $102,000 allowance. Back to Belmont Park. We will head, though, in about a week, 199 miles north. We'll turn back the clock. That great Red Smith quote, I don't want to butcher it on the air, but Red Smith and the fact that you're almost stepping back in time at Saratoga Racecourse comes to mind. And we want you up there at the old spa. Reserve your picnic table, $100 in the backyard. Ticketmaster.com, 844-NYRA-TICKS. And we'll kick things off with the Lake George and the Schuylerville on that first card, Friday, July 24th.
You're like an encyclopedia for everything racing. You impress me, for sure. Even if you
that.
couldn't pull it out, I would have totally forgotten about that. But yes, Saratoga right around the corner. And you feel like you're stepping into an old county fair. And it's such a great atmosphere. But I don't need to tell you that. I'm sure everybody knows.
And we'll see you up there. Of course, Ticketmaster.com, and more information available regarding a lot of good stuff on NYRA.com. Press stories, entries, results, and the new wagering interface that I was able to use last week down in Florida.
There you go.
Got to play around with it. It is very easy to use and intuitive. Race number 7, we turf once again. We had 6 grass races today. This was the feature. $102,000 purse in this conditioned allowance optional claimer. Good horses, needless to say. And here's Larry with the call.
Mr. Speaker is right there. Moutin is going up on the far outside, 4 deep into that first turn. Moving around Black Type and a ground-saving Sky Blazer, and Enterprising's right in that mix as well. 4 lengths separates them all as they go on to the backstretch, led by Chamois. Chamois and Mr. Speaker now 3/4 of a length behind. Unbridled Ocean is next on the inside after a 25 and 1 opening quarter mile. Then Moutin to the outside of Black Type. Sky Blazer second to last, and the trailer is Enterprising, who is 6 lengths off of Chamois. Chamois and Jose Ortiz heading them up the backstretch, and Mr. Speaker and Javier Castellano are just a half length behind. Then a line of 3, Unbridled Ocean. Moutin on the far outside. Between those two, it's Black Type. And then it's Sky Blazer, who's 5 lengths from the front. And Enterprising trails, 50 and 2 for the first half mile. And Chamois and Mr. Speaker head into the turn 1-2. Unbridled Ocean, Black Type, and Moutin on the far outside. 4 lengths back to Sky Blazer and Enterprising. Around the far turn, Mr. Speaker draws up alongside of Chamois, and these two are going to turn for home together. Chamois and Mr. Speaker, and they're into the stretch, and Chamois still got the lead. Mr. Speaker on the outside draws up. Mr. Speaker now to the front, and Chamois is back into second, and then comes Black Type to the outside, and Unbridled Ocean, but it's Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker finishing strong under the wires, going to win it by 3. And then it was Chamois holding on for second. A photo between Unbridled Ocean and Black Type for third.
Triumphant return of the races. First start in about 10 weeks for last year's Belmont Derby winner, Maggie, Mr. Speaker, who in a way had the most to gain and lose in this race. This was a very pivotal effort for this 4-year-old.
I completely agree. Obviously, this was the softest spot. Well, I don't know, the Keeneland race, okay, but the softest spot, at least of his third start of this year. And I thought he showed us what he's made of here. It was a nice performance. I think it's going to set him up to step back up into stakes company here. I mean, this was nearly a stake anyway with that kind of purse offered, but a cool horse and adding to the list of many nice turf horses for Shug McGahee this year.
Right, going forward to Saratoga as we look on at Shug, who I'm sure is relieved and happy Mr. Speaker showed up with a good effort here. He's got Ironicus, Reload, who will try to rebound off that poor effort here a couple weeks ago.
Even Imagining.
And Imagining as well, who's a steady stalwart in races like the Sword Dancer. So Shug's got a number of good turf horses in the barn. Indeed he does for the Black and Cherry. We'll move on to race number 8. 11 fillies and mares ready to battle. We're on the turf here, Widener grass course. They will go 7, purse of $77K. And here's Larry from the gate.
They're off. Great Walls comes out running on the lead. To the inside, it's Miss Always Ready with early speed. Orient Harbor at the rail. These 3 out to the front. And then is Unbridled Sonia, who came out running in 4th position up the backstretch. Jos de Zanimo is next on the inside as they continue their way with Lady of Victory. They're in between horses and starting to drop back through the field. There was Miss Always Ready. After that comes Katama to the outside of Glacken's Gift, and then comes Grandpa's Princess and My Caramia. The pace very slow 24 and won the opening quarter mile as they race for the far turn. Great Walls on the outside and Orient Harbor at the rail. These two head and head up front. Lady of Victory is third to the outside, and then it's Unbridled Sonia in fourth. Joe's Desanimo is fifth down on the inside. Katama goes up in sixth. And then it's Glacken's Gift, followed by Mike Caramia. Toward the inside, Miss Always Ready. And they're coming toward the top of the stretch of 47 and 3/2 mile. They're into the stretch. Gray Walls on the outside, the leader. Orient Harbor is down toward the inside. Lady of Victory is coming on. Joe's Desanimo is there. Behind them is Unbridled Sonia. And farther out, Katama and Mike Caramia on the far outside. Here's Joe's Desanimo. Joe's Desanimo takes the lead. And Javier Castellano and Joe's Desanimo beat Gray Walls under the wire. Then Mike Caramia and Lady of Victory.
Joe's Desanimo, good effort. Lost the rider last time. She kept Javier on her back today and smooth sailing when it counted the most in deep stretch.
Yeah, Chad Brown's done great with this filly that he took over the training of 4 starts back. He rattled off 2 wins down at Gulfstream. Obviously ill-fated for her and Jose Lascano last time out. Comes off a bit of a fresh thing, and she was full of run today.
All right, outrunning a couple of horses, including Gray Walls, who showed up with a very good effort trying allowance foes for the first time for John Terranova, Lady of Victory, and the number 6 horse, Mike Caramia, in the wake of the victorious Joe's Desanimo, who you probably have already suspected is by Loire Desanimo. And for Javier, that was win number 3 on the afternoon. And he's just one victory behind Irad Ortiz, who's not riding here tomorrow, but is back Friday. I think it's 52-51 in the standings.
This is a great race,
yeah,
Jay.
and it normally is, right?
It's usually the opposite, though, with Irad trying to clip the heel or chase the heels of Javier Castellano, but I think Javi might surpass him.
Yeah.
He's riding so well. He's on the right horses, and with this time away from the races that Irad's having, serving the suspension, I think it's his title to lose.
All right, and we get Irad and Joel Rosario back a bit later in this closing week at Belmont Park. But what about the final Wednesday? Here's what else happened, including Chris DiCarlo's upset win in race number 6. We will go race 1 all the way through the nightcap just for you and Larry Colmus.
For now, as they come to the top of the stretch, the half went in 47-1, and as they turn for home, it is Wild Street Girl and Clearly Cheating 1-2, and they're well clear of the others. It's now a 6-length gap back to Nighttime Slipper and Birkenhead as they come by the 8th pole. Wild Street Girl has the lead, and Clearly Cheating is trying to stick to Wild Street Girl. They're well ahead of Birkenhead in 3rd. Wild Street Girl and Fernando Jara have it as they come down to the line. Wild Street Girl will prevail, pulling away in the end by about 4 over Clearly Cheating, and then it was Birkenhead and Sassy Humor got 4th. Bargaining Table comes up to them 3 wide after a 47 4/2 mile. Then Chow Fun on the outside of Princess Jenny, and Dance with Gio is last as First Whippoorwill turns for home under a confident Manny Franco. First Whippoorwill off the turn in front. On the inside, Starship Pleasant. Bargaining Table on the outside now comes up after First Whippoorwill with a furlong to run. First Whippoorwill, Bargaining Table. On the inside comes Starship Pleasant trying to battle on. These 3 down to the wire, and it's Bargaining Table and Starship Pleasant that emerge up top, and Starship Pleasant came back to win. Over Bargaining Table, First Whippoorwill ended up 3rd, Princess Jenny 4th. Zadish. Jenny's Grade a catch as they come toward the top of the stretch. Get Gorgeous now comes off the rail, and to the outside it's Bounty Pink, and these 3 turn for home together after 3/4 and 113 flat. Jenny's Grade digs in on the inside. On the far outside, Bounty Pink, Get Gorgeous between those 2. Farther out, Darnley Bay, and then Lots of Noodles, who's making late progress up the rail, and is closing in. Get Gorgeous, here's Lots of Noodles up the rail. Darnley Bay to the outside. Lots of Noodles rallies up the rail to victory. Darnley Bay 2nd, Get Gorgeous 3rd, Bounty Pink 4th. And the trailer is Mad Props. They're coming toward the top of the stretch. Ali Sorrow turning for home in front after a 46 1/2 mile. Blue Chips Only to the outside is 2nd as they turn for home. And then it's Can't Catch Me Now to the outside, followed by Oldwick. Down toward the inside, Green Diamond Cat. Round Up the Lutes next, and on the far outside comes Cool Cat Strut. But as they come down to the 16th pole, it's between Blue Chips Only and Ali Sorrow. These two come down to the line together. Green Diamond Cat closing up the rail into third. Here's the wire. It is Blue Chips Only, and on the inside, Ali Sorrow made it close. The two of them were right together. Then Green Diamond Cat and Can't Catch Me Now turn. Then Hunter Cat and Enough Baby Enough to the outside, and My Tommy Boy and Polar Axis turns for home in front. Polar Axis coming to the 8th pole, 2 lengths ahead of Younger, who has now moved up on the outside, and also gaining ground is Canarsie Kid. Canarsie Kid is now up into second, 3 lengths off of Polar Axis. It's Polar Axis by 2.5. Canarsie Kid cutting into the gap late, but running out of time. Polar Axis holding off Canarsie Kid. Polar Axis by a length and a half on the wire. Canarsie Kid was second, and then My Tommy Boy and Hunter Cat.
That was Joe Orsino and Israel Rodriguez pulling the upset in the last race with Polar Axis. Got to like those Bustin' Stones sprinting on the turf, right?
Yeah, what? No, well, grandson of City Zip, so that kind of translates well. And I've been noticing that Israel Rodriguez putting horses on the lead. He's come away with a couple bombs, just being aggressive and getting the job done. And Joe Orsino having a couple wins over the past week as well.
Prices ruled the scene today at Belmont Park. One horse, amazingly, I don't know if it was a quick pick, alive, loose money in the last. That horse did not win. We've got 19,000 the carryover, and we have got one muddy, Lots of Noodles, closing up in the 2-path or so to close it out and get the money in race number 3.
Yeah, this 7-year-old mare by Mass Media. A reclaim by Steve Caceres going back to our fall in Aqueduct. And she was really good for him going back to last year about this time. But she wasn't able to kind of pull things together in her recent form. But it was good to see her rally up the rail under Angel Arroyo. She picked up her 8th win in 37 starts. So she's a cool race mare to have around.
You like those hard-hitting mares?
Yeah.
And I thought, and look, we only ran 3 races on the dirt today. I thought the main track was fairly even throughout that race with Lots of Noodles. Prove that in race number 3. Claims with 55 cards in the chart books at Belmont Park. There's your old mare, Lots of Noodles.
Wow.
Mike Dubb and Rudy jumping in and taking her.
That's an interesting one. Yeah, so claiming her off of a win. It's kind of like, where do you go? Probably same spot, but Rudy loading up with Mike Dubb for Saratoga, you got to think.
Yeah, race 3 was popular. That's a good group of mares, though. They're very solid and consistent for 20 G's. As we wave goodbye, don't worry, though. There's plenty more Insider coming your way. A little Thursday preview and a Pick 6 carryover of almost 20,000. Waning days at beautiful Belmont Park. The scene in the paddock has not changed. It's as serene and gorgeous as ever. And that'll set us up for a trip up north to Saratoga Racecourse. And we do have this $125 sign-up bonus for new members currently ongoing at NYRA.com. Check out the new NYRA HD app as well. It's in the Google Play and both the iTunes stores. You can download it. I played around with it on my iPad and my iPhone all week down in Florida. It took me about 30 seconds to link my NYRA.com wagering account and the HD app, and it was seamless, and I think you'll like it a lot. And speaking of liking a lot, we have a very popular jockey who's highlighted here, Mr. Javier Castellano.
Yeah, 3 wins today. He's only 1 behind Irad Ortiz now, and I'm sure that kind of winning ways is going to continue for Javi for the last 4 days here at Belmont, and you got to think on to Saratoga.
Chad Brown picked up a win, a quiet day for that operation. I think they only ran Joe's the Sonamo, but she showed up with the career best effort in the 8th. Todd Fletcher did not run any horses today, and he's just 2 victories away from the Belmont record of 44, achieved a couple of summers back by trainer David Jacobson. So a Thursday preview is in the cards. Very solid 3rd race, Maggie, as we get back to the action on the dirt. This was a Wednesday card pretty much dominated by racing on the turf, but the dirt is where it's at regarding our previews. Scarly Charlie, I know you've been a fan of this horse all along, and he'll come in off a very good effort behind the winning Catron.
Yeah, of the mentality state, he's not the most stable horse, but he's also a kind of racehorse. He always washes out in the paddock. He's always a handful to saddle, but I thought this effort here was so game. I mean, he tracked the speed all the way around there. We see where that horse finishes, way behind Scarly Charlie, and I think he's a horse who, when he's on his A game, he's pretty tough.
Let's get a little Aqueduct action in with Tenango for David Jacobson. A rare Castellano ride. Javier does not really perform for this barn all that often. He'll have the mount on this six-time winner who's only run twice on the year.
Obviously, that was the first thing that jumped out on the page to me, is that Javi is on Tenango, where he lands in a much easier spot than his last three, which were in stakes.
Integrity, a former Jacobson runner, reclaimed by Rudy Rodriguez, and this effort two back, splitting FNX and Coach Inge on the inner track over at the Big A.
I mean, you said it right there. Those two names kind of make this horse a little bit sparklier than, I just made up a word there, a little more sparkly than, maybe originally thought. I love the fact that Rudy reclaims him. Rudy, first off of a claim, route to sprint is 33% with a nearly $5 ROI. I thought that was pretty attractive for Integrity.
What are the odds you would have given me if I said, well, at that time with Integrity finishing second behind FNX and in front of Coach Inge, that FNX will come back, he'll win the Excelsior and the Suburban, and Coach Inge will win the Brooklyn and run a dynamite third in the Suburban?
I would have laughed at you about Coach Inge. FNX, I always thought the longer the better. He's kind of like the big classic horse, but Coach Inge has just burst onto the scene. It's just a testament to how good a job that Todd Pletcher has done with this horse, and he's game as they come out in the front end.
Yeah, I think he's bound for the Whitney on August 8th. A whole bunch of stakes on that Whitney card. That'll be a fun Saturday. Let's move on to race number 6. Down to Gulfstream we go with a look at a Tapit filly in Delightful Joy, who has not gotten back to this solid effort first time out.
She's a bit of a head scratcher here for Chad Brown. Jay, she ran well here. There were several winners coming out of this maiden race, but her last two efforts have not been that good. Granted, I think this race is a little bit easier than the horses or the fillies that she faced in her prior two.
Here's a last out Churchill maiden winner in Divine Praises. Got a good ride. Second choice, winning second choice at 8-5. I'm on the fence regarding the field quality.
You and me both. I wrote down bad field, so you're being a little more lenient than I am. But she could be one of those mod horses that's just improving.
All right, Divine Praises, Junior Alvarado, who did pop his shoulder back in. His shoulder popped out aboard Black Type in the 7th, took off the 8th, popped it back in. He expects to ride tomorrow. He'll be aboard Divine Praises. And Piccolo Flats, the New York bred, kind of repping the state breds for trainer Danny Gargan.
Her first time outside of New York bred company. Two back, that was an eye-popping effort. I thought it was very, very good, and then she didn't show up in the critical eye. Don't know what that means, but I think she might get a nice setup here, and that win, you can't scoff at that.
All right, main track, Big Sandy, final Thursday, July 16th. We hope Mother Nature cooperates. We'll clear things up at the Big B. The buzzer has sounded in the meantime. For Maggie and myself, thank you for watching, and we will see you tomorrow with the Pick 6 carryover and a first post of 120.